dig it, down, dig it, dig it, dig down, dig it, dig down, down, dig down. Dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it, dig it down. Dig it, 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 digit, 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 Thank you.
Pure elegance. I think that's the exact word for it. Pure elegance, even with the traditional didgeridoo. Welcome to Melbourne. I'm Ian Hunter. I'm about to give you a welcome to the event here. I'm a descendant of the original inhabitants of the Melbourne region, where the coming together of you people are from all over the world actually is occurring at the moment. So yeah, Ian Hunter, is that a good name for an Indigenous person or what? You're going to be totally disappointed because the name Hunter comes from my father's side of the family, and his father, my actual grandfather, came from, hopefully maybe there might be some people out there from that same region of the world. So my grandfather came from a little place in the Highlands with the name of Inverness. Do we have any Scots out there? Yeah, welcome. Welcome to Melbourne. See, I do have Indigenous heritage on my mother's side of the family. I only have to go back 4 generations to find what you might refer to as, oh yeah, that's the proper Aborigine, you know, people do. And the thing is, going back those 4 generations, when my great-great-grand was born, there were no Europeans here in what we now know as Melbourne. So it's a very, very quick time between my great-great-grandma and today, myself. And I actually work a lot in schools, and I actually ask school children, do you have a great-grandma alive? And yes, we do. Well, I'm talking about the same what you have in your family alive today is back from me when the first Europeans came and settled where Melbourne is today. So I'm proud of my Indigenous heritage, but I'm also just as proud as my Scottish heritage. So that, to all of us Australians here, that makes me a proud Australian. I'm not a Scot originally. I'm an Australian and proud of both of it. Now, the thing is, a lot of our traditional people, of the giving of the traditional welcome to people to our country was given by eucalyptus leaves, given to the newcomers coming to our country. But I've found in recent times, unless they're an extremely impressive leaf, people leave them behind. So I'm about to give you something that you cannot leave behind. I was listening to a great aunt of mine, and this was a fair while ago that it was actually recorded because it was on reel-to-reel tapes at the Melbourne Museum when I was listening. And this great aunt of mine was asked a few questions that were relevant that I thought. And the interviewer or the anthropologist asked her, what do you refer to yourselves as? And she said, oh, we are Wungi, or you might refer to us as Kulin, meaning people. And he said, what about me? I'm not Indigenous, I don't have dark skin like you. What, do you have a word? She said, yes, we do have a word for you. You are Namuji. And then, of course, his question was, but how can you have a word for something that does not exist? And, people have to realise that Indigenous peoples of Australia have an amazing sense of humour. And I think she was throwing a bit of humour in here. And she said, well, and as a matter of fact, you did exist. When we dreamt of you, the old ancestral people, in the dream time, you've got your eyes closed and it's dark. How on earth are you going to see someone with dark skin unless they smile? And she said, our ancestors that came back to us in our dreams were white. So we refer to them as the white people of the dreaming. So we have a word for that, and the word was Namuji. Oh, okay, so that sort of fixed that part of it. But then he thought he could confuse her, and he held up a metal saw. He said, I guess you wouldn't have a word for this. And I can see her with a big grin on her face. She said, well, as a matter of fact, we had two words for that. And the words were Gigal Gumbalai. But you didn't have metal. She said, no, Gigal means go away. Gumbalai means come back later. She said, so the saw was a go away, come back. So listening to that part of the interview, I thought, there are four amazing words there for a welcoming song. Gigal Namuji, go away, white fella. Gumbalai Coolin, come back, black fella. Meaning, all the people and the traditional peoples of the world have the same ideals, meaning let's look after the people and look after the land. So the song is not negative, it's a positive song, it's a positive chant, meaning for a little while in our hearts and our minds, go away with our ideals and European idea of accumulating material items and so forth. Think about the land and think about the people, the way that the Indigenous peoples thought about one another. And that hopefully this chant will stay right in the annals of your memory, and it'll come back every now and then. So the leaves can be taken away, but this is not ephemeral. Giganamuji, 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 Gambalakulan, Gambalakulan, Giganamuji, Giganamuji, Gambalakulan, Gambalakulan, Giganamuji, Giganamuji, Gambalakulan, Gambalakulan, Giganamuji. Wominjeka, and welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people, Wominjeka. And thanks for inviting me along to actually welcome you to our traditional lands, Wominjeka. Thanks very much. Thank you.